The world's most honored watch is Longines. Longines watches have won 10 World's Fair grand prizes, 28 gold medals, and more honors for accuracy than any other timepiece. Longines, the world's most honored watch, is made and guaranteed by the Longines Whitnall Watch Company.
It's time for the Longines Chronoscope, a television journal of the important issues of the hour, brought to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. A presentation of the Longines Whitnall Watch Company, maker of Longines, the world's most honored watch, and Whitnall, distinguished companion to the world-honored Longines.
Good evening. This is David Ross, speaking for your regular host, Frank Knight. And now may I introduce our co-editors of this edition of the Longines Chronoscope, Mr. William Bradford Huey, editor of the American Mercury, and Mr. Donald I. Rogers, an editor of the Herald Tribune. Our distinguished guest for this evening is the Honorable Earl Warren, Governor of California. The opinions expressed are necessarily those of the speakers.
Governor Warren, it's a pleasure to welcome you back on the Chronoscope program. Since you were last here, a lot of things have happened in the Republican Party. Some things have also happened in the Democratic Party, and we'd like to get your opinion on them, sir. First, do you feel that the rather sharp conflict developing within the ranks of the Republicans will be detrimental to the party when it comes to a showdown this summer?
Well, I'm of the opinion, Mr. Rogers, that if we keep it on a high plane, if we talk about principles rather than personalities, if we keep out the acrimony, that it will be strengthening rather than to be weakening to the party. Personally, I have tried to do that. I have talked only about principles. I have never mentioned an opponent.
You don't feel, do you, that if Taft is nominated, the ardent supporters of Eisenhower might not vote Republican?
Well, I'm not in either of those camps. I think I'll let those people speak for themselves.
What you're interested in, if Warren is nominated, you expect all of them to support you. Isn't that right, sir?
I would hope so. I would hope so, yes, sir.
But on the principle matter...
And I might say to you that I'm not selfish in that. If either of those gentlemen that you have mentioned were nominated, I would support them.
Well, tonight, sir, we're not interested in those gentlemen, except that we are interested in these principles. Do you think that, on principle, that the division between the so-called Middle Western group of Republicans, the nationalist group, and the so-called internationalist group, do you think that division is irreconcilable? Do you think that whichever one loses in the contest, that there will be some defections from the ticket or from the party on the other group?
Well, I think always where you have a sharp line of demarcation on on matters of principle, you find some defections. Now, whether they can reconcile themselves at the convention or subsequently thereto is a question that could not be answered at the present time, in my opinion.
In your opinion, sir, the Republican Party or the protest group this time has a fair chance now of presenting a united party in November, whomever wins the nomination?
Yes, I would think that they have a much better chance of doing that than the incumbent administration.
What's your opinion of the one single thing that will pull the Republicans together? The one factor that will make them all vote Republican and not split?
Well, I don't know that there is any one factor. I believe it's the philosophy of our party. I believe it's the realization of the need for reorganizing our government, for streamlining it, for cutting out all of the dead wood, for reestablishing integrity throughout the government.
Well, that's more or less Mr. Huey's theory of a protest group, though, isn't it?
Well, I don't believe so. I believe those represent sound, fundamental principles.
Well,
It wasn't just a protest group. I think I think we would be before that, whether we were in or out of office.
There is, of course, there's a sound case against the present administration, isn't
I
there?
believe so.
And one of the things you're doing in your campaigning is making that case against the government clear.
That is true. That is true.
So you have the dual purpose of first establishing the case against an administration that's been there 20 years and then explaining what you expect to do when you get power.
Yes. I'm of the opinion, Mr. Huey, that the Republicans cannot win just on a negative campaign. I believe that we cannot win just by pointing out the mistakes of the Democrats. You see, we haven't been in power for 20 years, and the people of America are going to want to know what we propose to do, and I believe that we ought to meet every problem of American life head on.
Could you point out briefly, sir, some of the issues, some of the points in your platform which are not duplications of the Democratic platform?
Well, yes, I just mentioned some of them just a few moments ago. I believe that we must reorganize our government. I don't believe that the Democrats can say that they have tried to accomplish that result.
I think they will say it.
Yes, well, that may be, but I don't believe that the fact will support it. I believe that we have to make another approach to our finances in government. And in that we would be very much different from the Democratic Party. I don't believe that we can continue to travel the road to insolvency by piling up a national debt year after year in time of peace. There's always a day of reckoning, and I believe that we have to do that. I believe that we can, and that we must restore integrity in government and the confidence of people in the integrity of their government. Because of this administration being 20 years of age and all of these weaknesses developing in it at this particular time, I believe it's apparent to the average person that they do not have the resiliency to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and do that thing. And
Governor,
of course, sir, I hadn't finished, but if you want me to go on to something else, I'd be glad to do it, Mr. Huey.
Thank you, sir. I did want to make just this point. Is it fair to say that your criticism of the present government is a criticism just of management and not a criticism of any theory of government?
Oh, on the contrary, I want to say to you that I'm thoroughly out of sympathy, and always have been, with the efforts of this administration, and I refer to it as the 20-year administration, of centralizing all administrative power in Washington. I believe that they have weakened our institutions. I believe that they have detracted from the efficiency and the importance of both state and local government.
Specifically, what do you have in mind, sir?
Well, I mean simply this: every program that the federal government initiates, that is both a federal, state, and local participation program. The intent on their part is always to centralize the administration of the entire program in Washington, D.C. And when we do that, we're taking away from state and local government the responsibility of functioning, and we're weakening our democratic processes. Now, on the contrary, I'm of the opinion that in such programs we ought to put as much of the administrative power as we possibly can in the states and in the local communities, and only do so much at Washington as is necessary to see that the purposes of the program are carried out and that the finances of the federal government are protected.
That's real administration and not supervision.
That's right. That's right. And that, to me, is a fundamental principle. I believe that if we could turn the tide in that respect, it would have a great deal to do with the future of our country, and it would ensure preserving the spirit of our institutions as well as the form, because if we ever take away from the people in their own home communities and in their states the responsibility for administering the affairs of government and transfer it to Washington, we are destroying the spirit of our institutions and maintaining the form, which many countries have done to their great sorrow in years gone by.
Governor, I have, as a final question, sir, I'm sure that our audience would like to have your prediction as to how much strength you believe you will have at the Republican National Convention.
Well, I'm not a predictor as a rule, but I'll be very frank with you. I'm interested. I'm entered in 3 primaries. I entered in the Wisconsin primary. I got 6 votes from Wisconsin. I'm entered in the Oregon primary. The election is the 16th of May. I don't know what the outcome of that will be. The 3rd one I'm entered in is my own state of California that has 70 votes.
And you expect to do pretty well in California, I take it.
I would try. I think
well, Governor,
we'll do all
Governor,
right.
It's been a great pleasure to have you tonight, and thank you for your second appearance on the Chronoscope.
Always delighted, Mr. Huey.
The editorial board for this edition of the Longines Chronoscope was Mr. William Bradford Huey and Mr. Donald I. Rogers. Our distinguished guest was the Honorable Earl Warren, Governor of California. There'll be good news for motorists from the Mobile Gas Economy Run. In this greatest of stock car events, sanctioned by the American Automobile Associations, are some 30 brand new 1952 cars of various types and make. The road run is from Los Angeles to Sun Valley, Idaho. 42 Longines watches at checkpoints, and in the hands of the official observers will do the timing. Longines itself, the world's most honored watch in sports, is happy to cooperate in this great event, as it does in so many other leading sports events throughout the world. The official watch for the contest board of the American Automobile Association is Longines, the world's most honored watch. The official watch for the National Aeronautic Association is also Longines. The official watch for the American Powerboat Association is likewise Longines. And again, the United States Olympic Committee has selected Longines watches to time all events for the selection of the 1952 U.S. Olympic team. The watch of first choice in sports timing is the watch of first choice of discriminating men and women in every country of the free world. Longines, a watch of superlative quality and true investment value. So if you wish to purchase a very fine watch, either for yourself or as a gift, perhaps for a coming graduation or an anniversary or any important occasion, look for the true quality in the watch you buy, and your choice will be Longines, the world's most honored watch, premier product of the Longines Whitnall Watch Company, since 1866, maker of watches of the highest character. This is David Ross, speaking for your regular host, Frank Knight, inviting you to join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evening at the same time for the Longines Chronoscope, a television journal of the important issues of the hour, broadcast on behalf of Longines, the world's most honored watch, and Whitnall, distinguished companion to the world-honored Longines, sold and serviced from coast to coast by more than 4,000 leading jewelers who proudly display the emblem, Agency for Longines Whitnall Watches. This is the CBS Television Network.